welcome back to another episode of the What Was That podcast. I'm Jazzy.
And I'm Addi.
We both have had our fair share of weird experiences, wouldn't you say?
Brother, I could write a whole novel on my weird experiences.
So it comes as no surprise to us that other people have experienced odd occurrences as well.
It's part of the reason why we started this podcast, to share all things strange, paranormal, and downright weird.
And today we are leaning into the strange with stories that will leave you thinking, well, that was weird.
There we go. That was good.
Weird.
Weird.
Sorry guys, first story has weird audio because I forgot to record on my computer.
Computer?
Make
These two guys super gay and horny and kiss each other.
Make these two girls super gay and horny and kiss each other. Trigger warning on this next story. It's actually not in the story, but we talk about it afterwards. Lots of drug use.
Yeah. Story 1. Charged by a barefoot girl in Ogden, Utah. She was in college.
I read that as Bigfoot. A Bigfoot girl.
Her feet have massive.
You know what they say about big feet?
You just hear them slapping at the pavement as she ran towards me. Charged by a barefoot college girl in Ogden, Utah. Weirdest encounter I've ever had in my life a few hours ago. It's about 11 p.m. I'm staying at the Hampton Inn in Ogden, Utah for work. I'm restless and decided to take a brisk walk with headphones and some loud music to clear my head before getting some sleep. This is a man. Everything is normal until I turn a corner around the hotel building. About 20 feet away from me is a roughly college-age woman wearing a tank top, short jean shorts, no socks or shoes, facing away from me. She's swaying lightly and tugging the shorts up aggressively, generally acting strange and unstable. At this time, I assume the lady is either drugged out hard or is incredibly drunk. I decide I don't want to engage and turn around slowly to walk the other way. She had her back to me this whole time. After I take a step or two, I feel uneasy having my back to her, especially in my deafened state with headphones. Take a look. It's an next sentence. I cut the music and pull an earbud out, continue to walk away. Maybe 4 or 5 seconds later, I hear her breathing heavily very near me, like some kind of animal, and whispering, hissing, something unintelligible. She's within 2 feet of me at this point. Her bare feet were basically silent on the pavement and allowed her to sprint right up to me without me noticing. She must have really booked it too. She would have had to clear 15 to 20 feet in that time. Reasonably startled, I square up to her and I put my hands up with palms facing outward and exclaim, "Jesus Christ!" I must have glanced at her bare feet at this time because she responded, "Oh, what? Do you see my feet? Do they scare you that bad, pussy?" She seems genuinely puzzled by my reaction, but it was very clearly some kind of manic state. I walk away and she continues to shout things at me about her feet and being a pussy and other unintelligible noises. What really struck me as the most odd is the way that she was totally alone. No crowd of other drunk college kids, no friends, nothing. I expect weird behavior like this from packs of kids, but not a lone young woman. I did a welfare call to the police because I was concerned about how her little routine might go with someone else on the street that night. Hopefully she got some help if she needed it. Any ideas what the hell that was about? I'm familiar with drug behavior. I've spent an extensive time with regular meth users, one of them who had a full psychosis event. So not light users either. This lady was on some kind of bath salts zombie or something. This reminds me of a story that I recently heard. To bring up Bettina. She's in a delicate condition, as you know.
Yeah.
And in her first trimester of that, any sort of smell or anything would just make her vomit.
Yeah.
She can't handle it. And she was downtown on the bus to go to the convention center. Sees a woman there. They're like covered in like vomit and shit and just very fragrant. And this woman's not paying attention to Bettina, but she's yelling at someone else.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna get myself off on this bus and continue on my day." And the woman like locks eyes with her and just starts yelling, "You think you're better than me? You think you're better than me?" And she gets within 10 feet of Bettina, where she can smell her. And keep in mind, she's in a delicate condition.
Mm-hmm.
Any scent is going to make her throw up. So she projectile vomits at the woman. And the woman is just like, "Oh my God," and walks away. And he's like, "Okay, I'm the disgusting."
Yeah, right? All of a sudden, eyes are on me now. I was the lazy one.
Because I projectile vomited.
On the woman already covered in vomit and shit.
Right. I'm the problem here. And everyone's like turns away. And she's like, "I'm pregnant." I'm not like having an exorcism right here. I'm just like, leave me alone.
Yeah.
Leave me alone. Shut up.
That's crazy. I'm so sad. Poor Bettina.
So unfortunate.
Oh my God. I think that this woman was reclaiming her power. In my opinion. I'm like, yeah, she saw a guy out on the street and she was like, "I can't do that. Let me see how he likes it." And she ran up on his ass and she was like, "Oh, what? You can't handle a woman with little bare feet, you pussy."
I guess he took her shoes off and threw them into a bush.
Yeah, right. I do want to know because, like, Utah, like, it's hard to get drunk in Utah, right? Unless you're like, you go out and buy alcohol, which is hard because I know the liquor laws in Utah are really strict.
They're very
like,
strict,
super,
yeah.
super strict. And, but I know that meth is a big problem. So I
Interesting.
wonder if it's that.
Who's in charge of Utah? Hey, Utah, if you gave them maybe alcohol, maybe they wouldn't do so much meth.
Yeah. Well,
Is that
drugs are a big part of every community all over the world, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But there is a really big meth problem, especially like in like the northern parts of Utah.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
where all the Mormons reside. Huge meth problem. Yeah, the more you know.
Did you get those Never Once commercials?
Yeah.
Where you grew up?
Yeah, all the time. Yeah.
Like, "I wish I went to a party and got my face bashed in with a brick. Instead, I did meth." He's
Yeah.
like sitting on a bed waiting for like a big man to come get him.
I did watch, like, because I had to do a program when I was younger and was like not doing so well in my life, and I had to go to this program a few times a week for a long time, and one of the first things that I had to watch when I started this program was this video about meth, like about meth
Mhm.
users. And I'd never done meth, never done it, never have any interest in doing it. I'm like,
No,
that's not my drug of
not even
choice.
once.
No, that's not my drug of choice. I'm not an upper person, but I digress. But in this video, it was a story. It's a real story, and it was like, God, it had to have been like Minnesota or Wisconsin or Michigan, like one of those like northern Midwest states where it's really cold. And it was like the story of a girl who was in college and she went to a party and she just happened to try meth. Like they were like, "Do you want to try this?" And she was like, "Sure."
Right.
And so she smoked meth. And then like her and her friend who also smoked meth tried to like leave the party and they drove.
Yeah.
And they like something happened. They like saw something like in the woods as they were driving, and it made them like lose control on the snow and the ice.
Yeah.
And they drove into a snowbank. And what they think happened, and this is like dramatized for the movie.
Yeah.
So who knows what actually happened, you know? But they showed all of these like guys dressed in full black cloaks, just shadows, like come out and just like swarm this girl, very Hell House LLC style.
Yeah.
Like swarm this girl. And so she starts running and she runs into this like little like fishing shed essentially. And she freezes to death and she dies.
Damn.
So, and they were like, "That's why you shouldn't do meth."
Not even once.
Yeah. And
Not
I
even
remember
once.
watching that and I was like, damn, that's crazy. I can't say that this would not make me I don't want to do meth.
Right.
Cannot emphasize enough. But
Right.
can't say that this is a good PSA.
Right.
Like, I'm like, this didn't make me watch this and be like, nah, I shouldn't do meth. Like, I'm like,
yeah.
dang, I didn't realize the visuals were that strong. People should do that instead of
Yeah.
like
That's
mushrooms or
yeah.
something. Yeah.
No, I'm a Leo, so there's some vanity happening. So I'm not saying that's the only thing that's stopping me from doing meth, but it is a key part. Meth is.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Because
Doing.
yeah. I
do
totally
that.
understand. I'm like, that's the same. My counselor in this same era, he was like big on both meth and heroin.
Oh.
Like he was like, I loved them both together. Smack them up together and whip it up. And he
Yeah.
was like, his arms like were covered in scars from from needles and also from trigger warning for drug talk. We should put that in there.
You should. Yeah.
But anyway, his arms were covered with track marks and blown veins.
Yeah.
So like ugly arms. And I was like,
I don't want that.
yeah. And I had friends when I was younger who would shoot up to, and I saw all of their track marks all the time. And I'm like, that looks bad, you guys.
Right. And like I'm just not good with needles.
I'm not
in
either.
general.
I'm like, can we not figure out another way to do this? I know like smoking it like goes in your teeth, but like that's why it's a big snow.
Did you see Michael Jackson's daughter Paris? She was like showing the hole that she has in her nose.
No, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's like a big one. And she's like, it's from exactly what you think. Like,
Yeah.
She's like, so be careful.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm like, I'd rather have that than some of the other
the track marks on my arms or
I'm short. Who's
rotted
in my
teeth.
nose?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't want rotted teeth.
No, I don't want rotted teeth either. I'm like, I like my teeth. I don't take as good as care of my teeth as I should, but I like my teeth enough.
Smile.
Thank you. Thank you. They're a little crooked, but
Mine are a little crooked too. I feel like it makes it look more natural.
yeah, I don't look like I have veneers.
I don't like the uncanny valley.
No, yeah, I can't do the veneer phase.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Bounce on track. Wow, this is great.
I genuinely like I can't imagine, especially with her being like, did they scare you that bad? Like I can't imagine her being like that out of her mind. Is that
Right.
crazy? Maybe I'm like crazy for thinking that, but I'm like, this is a fully cognizant, aware woman,
Right. Yelling shit at a man in the streets.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
knows what she's doing.
Computer.
Yeah,
She's basically computing.
I think she's just reclaiming her power. She saw a man out by himself with his headphones on, and she's like, I'm gonna do to him what they do to me.
Yeah, this bitch right here.
Target number one, target
Yeah.
acquired.
Yeah,
Locked
she's
in.
like, has her toes on a leash. She's like, what, you scared of these?
Yeah. The dogs are barking. Yeah, I know when you're scared. These dogs are barking loud.
Yeah. No, he's fine.
Oh my God, you know what I didn't do?
Story 2. I hid in the walls of my house from something unknown. I rarely speak about this incident because it ultimately left me confused, frightened, and feeling incapable of keeping me or others safe. I'm posting about it now because recently I brought it up to my siblings for the first time and they told me something about that day that changed everything for me. Plus, I'm a little baked and there's no way in hell I'd write about this sober. Oh, it's fair.
Oh, yeah.
I, she, her, was 14 at the time. My sibling, they, them, was 12 and it was summer break. I remember spending most of those days taking care of my sibling, pretending to be a lot older than I really was, and entertaining us for hours. I made up games of knights and villains to distract us from the heat. It could sometimes get up to 105 degrees, and you needed gills to be comfortable in that kind of muggy heat. I remember moving us inside. Even though we lived in an old house in a rough part of town with little AC, it was still better than the direct scorch of the sun. I threw my flip phone on the couch by the front door, and the two of us went upstairs to keep playing our game. After some time upstairs, we were raising our swords, sticks, and declaring something, I can't remember what, when I heard what sounded like an entire bookshelf crash against the hardwood downstairs. I don't remember much about what I saw that day. I don't remember much about what happened, but I do remember how I felt at that moment. Like my humanity left me and I was an animal. I threw my hand out to shush my sibling and practically dragged them to the floor. It was like I was only capable of listening for further threats in that moment. My brain had never been that quiet. There were footsteps. It sounded like two people, more crashing, then muffled voices of men. I kept listening, completely frozen, until finally some sharp voice shot out in my brain, they're going to come upstairs next. There was no time, and we had to be quiet. I quickly remembered that there were panels in the walls that, when open, gave you access to these strange, unfinished spaces, only big enough for an adult in the fetal position or, conveniently, 2 small children. You could barely see the small, paper-thin latches that held the panels in place unless you knew where to look, and my sibling and I had found them ages ago. We climbed inside one of those and closed the panel behind us, nimble as we could be, silent as the grave. And we sat, in the complete, thick darkness, hot with the insulated heat of the summer. I remember the first time not being scared of those spaces. There was no hesitation to climb inside like before when we first found them and they frightened us. The noises continued, like there was someone or someone ransacking the house. I don't know how long they were there. After a time it was quiet, my thoughts had returned to me. I was less in a panic, and I told my sibling to wait in the walls while I crept out to get my phone and call for help. If you remember, I left it on the couch by the front door. Once downstairs, phone in hand and no men in sight, I called for my sibling to run downstairs and we ran to the neighbor's house. Here's the thing though, the door was locked when we left for the neighbors. I remember because in my haste to leave, I ran into it thinking it would just open with the turn of a handle. The neighbor was very helpful and in retrospect, really brave. He came over to the house with us and we explored every room in the main floor and the basement. And guys, there was nothing out of place. Every door was locked, and the only messes were the ones that my sibling and I made, and the neighbor eventually just told us to call our mom and have her come home early because both of us felt really spooked and jumpy. He left, I called my mom, we stayed in the kitchen, and I, in a daze, remember trying to make mac and cheese for us as I jumped at every groan and creak in the old house. So back where I started, and why I'm making this post in the first place, my sibling and I, both now in our late 20s, were drinking together when I asked them if they remembered what they saw that day. They got uncomfortable and a little slower, more meticulous with their next words. They told me, well, I remember you were telling me there were people in the house, and I remember you making us hide in the walls. I was confused and said, like, yeah, don't you remember hearing the crashes, the bangs? And they just shook their head. They aren't someone who pranks. They don't get joy out of making other people uncomfortable. And I know they were able to tell that their response really unsettled me, but they stuck with it. I don't really think that they heard anything, so for a lack of better words, what the fuck? That's weird.
That's weird.
That's weird.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That, I wonder what that could have been, because, like, maybe just auditory processing, like hallucination kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, if you went downstairs and there was nothing out of place.
Doors are locked, nothing's, because, yeah, I feel like, I don't know if it could, like, if it's paranormal. In the realm of paranormal, if it could be, like, a residual haunting type thing.
Yeah.
Or what, but you're the only one that heard it.
Yeah. And it's also, another thing to add in is that it's hot.
Very
And
hot.
when you get hot, sometimes, like, with consistent bad heat, you can start to, I mean, you've seen montages of people in the desert who are, like, water deprived, and they're dehydrated, they're walking in the sun, and then all of a sudden they see something in the distance and they hear their mom who died 20 years ago, you know? So maybe there's an aspect of that, like, maybe they're, like, a little dehydrated, it's really hot inside the house.
Mm-hmm.
And
they were just running around playing, so, you know.
and they just, like, thought something that didn't happen.
Yeah. A weird auditory hallucination.
Yeah. Or maybe it was, like, the neighbors next door, like, on the other side. They said that they live in kind of, like, a bad area.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it was, like, really loud next door. Maybe somebody was getting robbed, like, next door, and, like, the walls are just really thin, and the sound carried really easily into the house.
Yeah. Yeah. Or, like, someone could have just been, like, hammering stuff.
Yeah.
You know, working on some stuff.
Yeah. And I do lean towards, like, the hallucination side because it is hot. And
105 degrees.
And the thing that I thought too was the fact that they went upstairs and heat rises. So it's always upstairs in any house, it's always going to be hotter than anywhere else because heat rises.
Right. And then you're hiding inside of the wall in this little tiny crevice with
Yeah.
another person next to you.
No airflow.
Yeah. So you're getting hotter and hotter and hotter.
Yeah. So yeah, your whole body is going to be in survival mode regardless of what's going on downstairs. Yeah. That's what I'm inclined to think is that it was, like, a hallucination thing from the heat, and that's why, like, OP heard that and their sibling didn't.
Yeah, but how scary, dude.
That'd be really scary.
I would feel just like, what the hell happened? Because like
Yeah.
you hear all this stuff and then you go downstairs.
Nothing's out of order.
Yeah, I'd be so confused.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same. I don't think I've ever had anything that severe. I've had like auditory hallucinations before,
Totally, yeah.
but I've never heard anything like that crazy, you know, like ongoing. Like I've heard people like say my name
Yeah.
or like they'll say like hi, hello, that kind of thing.
Like that.
Yeah. But it's never like a full thing, like a
Yeah.
whole charade of stuff that's happening.
Yeah.
So
I don't remember if I brought it up here, but I think I told you just in real life that I've been having sleep paralysis more. Historically, I've never had it, but I've had it like, I want to say 3 or 4 times in the last several months. And the last one that I had, I was sleeping on the couch because I couldn't fall asleep on my bed. So I slept on the couch. And I think what triggered it is I knew the maintenance guys were supposed to be coming to fix something.
yeah.
And I was sleeping and I just couldn't wake up. And I could hear rubber boots walking around my apartment. And I kept hearing, Jasmine, you need to get up. You have to get up. And I couldn't. And I just heard the rubber boots just walking around. I was like, hey, I don't like that.
Yeah.
Eventually I like woke up and I was like,
Yeah.
no one was there. They also don't wear rubber boots when they come like do stuff. So
Yeah.
very strange.
Freaky.
Mhm.
Weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Story 3. Story 3. Weird experience in the Smoky Mountains by Pigeon Forge, Tennessee.
that's where Quinn's going to his bachelor party.
I've been to Pigeon Forge. It's actually pretty, like, there's like some kitschy areas. We rented a cabin for Thanksgiving one year and we went to Pigeon Forge. And granted, it didn't turn out well, but not because of Pigeon Forge. Pigeon Forge is really cool. So, okay, to start off, me and my husband were sitting out on the deck at night, and all of a sudden, an extremely loud, high-pitched scream came from right in front of us. We ran inside. This scream lasted a good 15 seconds and didn't sound like any sort of animal screams I've looked up. Our friends came running from the basement asking what the hell that was. After about 10 minutes, it starts to go off again, and everyone runs back inside. This is where it gets more weird. My husband went out to the front to walk down the driveway and investigate. My daughter grabs me and says, "Mommy, why is Daddy doing that?" My husband's at the front door, chin down, eyes staring at me, scratching at the door. Okay. I roll my eyes and keep looking at the bat, thinking he's just messing with us. Eventually, he comes inside, and my daughter asks why he did that, and he said, "What are you talking about? I was at the bottom of the driveway." I've tried to break this man into telling me it was a prank for days, and he still says it wasn't him. Even though my daughter's having a panic attack for hours, he swears it wasn't him. The next night, I'm standing on the deck, and the rocks start being thrown from the roof past my head and hitting the ground. The screams started again. After telling all of our friends what's happening, I see one go outside and hide, assuming to throw rocks and scare me some more. Well, my daughter goes out and looks under the truck, and the friend is just laying under the truck, not responding to anyone, no matter what. The screams are coming from right next to him, and he's not moving. We all come inside and leave him. Eventually, I find him next to the cabin, and he laughs when he's caught. We all go in again, and the same friend comes up from the basement, wet, slips, and falls. I say, "That's what you get from pulling that shit outside," and he says, "What are you talking about?" He's been downstairs in the jacuzzi the whole time. None of the 9 other people saw him come in the house when we did, even though we all came in at the same time. Trust me, I want to believe this is just a prank, and I know everyone reading this will say it's a prank, but my husband and friend are adamant it wasn't them. Okay. Also, we're being personally victimized by the same bear at every point in the day, so that's fun. LOL.
Huh. Okay, well, that's definitely a flush pedestrian.
Yeah.
That's
Just like staring and crawling, like clawing at the door. Oh my God.
yeah, because that's like the heart of the Smoky Mountains, which is the Appalachia. So
Yeah.
it's like that's prime territory right there for flush pedestrians. That's terrifying.
Don't like that.
Don't like that. My first thought whenever they said screaming, I was like, oh, a mountain lion.
Right.
Because there's mountain lions all over Tennessee. You know,
Mhm.
like especially in the Blue Ridge Mountains in that area and stuff. There's tons of mountain lions, and they do that like
Yeah, that's screaming.
Scream.
They do like baby cries. They do a bunch
Yeah.
of different sounds.
So that was my first thought, but then the husband right after that, then I was like, oh, well,
You're kind of doing weird shit, Earl, and I don't like that.
what if it is like a deathbed confession, like it was all a prank, and they were like, we can't tell anyone because your daughter had a panic attack, man. You can't
Like,
tell
hey,
now.
we kind of went too far. with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, they're like literally dying. He's like on his deathbed, and he's like, I have something to tell you, Susan. And she's like, what? And he's like, it was me.
The tongue rolls
She's
out.
like, I knew it. You son of a bitch. Yeah, and now she can't.
40 years.
Yeah. So that's what I'm hoping for, is that it is just like a prank that got carried away, and he was like, I can't tell her because I did get too carried away with this.
Right.
But yeah, the laying, like, okay. Also, why is your daughter just going out by herself?
Everyone needs to stay inside. Everyone stay
Yeah,
inside.
you've seen
the
too
doors.
many weird things.
Yeah.
This is not a time to let your kid go meander outside
No.
and go and look at your friend who's just laying.
just laying there with like a scream, just, oh.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
absolutely the fuck not. Also, I wouldn't like. My husband comes back inside after I saw him like standing at the door, eyes down, like growling and scratching at the door. I'd be like, "You're not coming back inside, bitch."
Like, no.
No.
You sleep outside.
yeah, you get a
This
tent.
comment. Are you sure your husband is still your husband? No, I wouldn't be sure.
Yup.
Dear God.
Yep.
This is why there needs to be code words.
Yeah.
So you know, because I mean, unless based on supernatural, if they're a demon, they can get in your head and they can see all these things. But if it's a flesh pedestrian, they wouldn't know all the things happening in your head. They could just
Yeah.
take your form, right?
Yeah.
So,
But they do. I think flesh pedestrians can also like access your memories too.
shit.
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure that is like canon to the lore, that because they started off as like witch doctors and they changed.
Yeah.
So like they're like magical, you
Yeah.
know, in a fucked up way. But I'm pretty sure that they can take on memories and be like, oh, like you thought this at some point.
Right.
So your code word is pomegranate.
Yeah.
Pomegranate. See, honey, I am.
It's me.
Do you think do you think flesh pedestrians are in the same vein? Like, do you think, me turning this into an empathetic standpoint, you know how when people go into a coma, follow me here.
Yeah.
When people go into a coma, and like that one lady that just woke up from a coma and she had a whole family.
Yeah.
And she was like, I had kids. I was in a relationship for like 7 years, blah, blah, blah. Or like different people who have had those instances where they like are put under and then they come up and they're like, I lived this whole separate life.
Yeah.
Do you think that flesh pedestrians like assume, like they like take over this person's body, right? They morph into this person's body, take on their memories. And then when they have to give it up, they get like sad because they were like, that was my life. Like
Yeah.
I felt all the same things. I lived through all their emotions. I lived through all
Yeah.
these memories. That was my life. And now I have to give it up and I have to go back to being. Yeah.
I bet. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I don't want to give it up.
Yeah.
Like, I like this suit. I'm
Yeah.
keeping it.
And then they'll get into a bad one of a person who just did a lot of really fucked up shit. And they're like, oh, get it off me.
Never mind.
Yeah. Like a hermit crab.
Don't touch me.
Yeah, just carting a shell.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to choose to believe, too. That's also canon.
If any flesh pedestrians are listening, please send us an email
Tune
at
in.
whatwasThat.thepod@gmail.com.
We would love to know if you get tired of different skin suits, if you really like certain skin suits, if you stay in some of them for long periods of time.
Right. Are there, if you watch Supernatural, are there some vessels that are better than others? Like some are gonna explode on you, and some are just like, this
Yeah.
is pretty prime.
Like an organ transplant. Like some of them are going to
Exactly.
reject, some of them are going to stay.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let us know the ins and outs because I would love to learn how to become a flesh pedestrian. Is that something
Just,
you can
like,
do?
for research.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to do that, but
Yeah.
just to know, in case I'm ever on Jeopardy.
Yeah, in case they ever ask and in case it comes up on the board, can you become a flesh pedestrian if you try?
Yeah.
What does it take? List the steps. what is?
Let of your enemies.
Yeah, that's terrifying. Going back to the story again, though, terrifying. I would not ever trust my husband again.
No. Did you watched Us, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I imagine it's like that, where it's like, who's who? Which
Yeah.
one's which one? And one's been out for the whole time. So are you the one that we want to keep? Because technically, you did some shit when you were younger. You're not supposed to be here.
Yeah.
However, you've been here for a long time, haven't you?
Yeah.
Can't send you back.
Can't send you back. You're stuck here. We're on this side of the world now.
Right. Yeah. And the here one is freaky now because she's been over there.
Would you? Okay, so say you found like your soulmate, right? Like you're like married, you're happy, you guys have kids, you settle down.
Me and Michael got it.
Yeah. You and Michael finally got put in the same room together.
Yep.
And you guys have 4 beautiful children. Three beautiful children. 2 beautiful children. 1 beautiful child.
Amazing.
You guys have 1 beautiful child. Very gorgeous life together. You guys have dogs. You guys have a little farm. You have a whole beautiful life. You take a trip out to the Smoky Mountains with your friends. And this happens. Would you like stay with your husband?
With Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah.
My first thought would be like, this is kind of like Sinners, isn't it? That's so
Yeah.
crazy. Babe, I'm gonna need you to sleep outside.
You could make him like a little dog house. A
Yeah.
really nice dog. They get a mother-in-law suite.
Yeah.
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 He'd be like, hey, can you take some of that freaky shit in here when you come in for the bedroom? You know, can we do some like shape shifting when you come in here in the bedroom? We can role play.
Yeah. That's fine.
Okay.
But yeah. I might like, squirt it with some holy water or something. Just like,
Double check.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I really love, I don't know why this reminded me of it, but I've been sending them to you all morning. The videos of the guy who pretends to be the vampire.
They're funny. That guy's so funny. Also,
so funny.
my type.
Yes,
Just
I
goofy.
literally, no, yeah. And
He's
the
so
first time
funny.
I saw him on the screen, I was like, him in that little,
I
that
would've
little
invited
hat
him.
and
Yeah.
the little glasses and the
Yeah.
little fangs. I was like,
Fucking dogs out with the socks and the slippers. I'm like, that's weird.
one
on.
tennis shoe, 1 sock and sandal with
Yeah.
his toes out. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I
Get
would
your weird ass in here.
fall for, yeah, exactly. You want an invite?
Yeah.
You want to come inside? You want the house tour?
Yeah, I love little weird boy. Story 4. This feels good. My shoulder's popping. I'm so decrepit.
So, I start working out.
You do yoga.
Story 4. A ghost got in my car at the cemetery. Hell yeah. Hello, everyone. Thought you might like to hear what happened to me tonight. I've been trying to get in more exercise lately and go for walks every day. There's 2 big cemeteries close to me that are right across the street from each other. I like to go there for walks because it's a full lap of the pathway around the outside is a little over a mile. I usually go during the day, but sometimes at night because I work the night shift and it's the only time I can fit it in. Tonight was one of those. I woke up around 5 p.m., ran some errands, and came home, laid around for a few hours doing nothing, and around 9 p.m., I decided I could go out for my walk finally, so I got dressed and drove over to the cemeteries. I parked my car along the fence on the side of the larger one, the entrance to the other one directly across the street. I like to walk through both usually, so I started with the smaller one, taking my time and looking at the headstones with my little flashlight I brought. I walked back across the street to the bigger one and started my lap around the outside. I've never really felt anything creepy in there despite my frequent 3 to 4 a.m. visits. Tonight was no different. I took my time enjoying my podcast I was listening to while I walked and stopped to look around and picked up little statues and trinkets that had been knocked over at the little graves. As I was finishing my lap around the outside, I was getting close to where I'd parked just outside the entrance gate. I was coming up from the back side of my car and I could see inside the back window. The street light coming through illuminated the very clear silhouette of a man sitting in the backseat of my car. I stopped dead in my tracks and stared for a few seconds just to make sure it wasn't a weird shadow or my brain was just inventing things to scare me. At that point, I was assuming that there was a living person in there. I live in a fairly safe place, but it's not that great. There's been reports lately of people getting their cars broken into, so I assumed that's what was going on. I stepped off the pavement and into the rows of headstones to take a wider path around to see my car from the side. I did bring my gun with me, as I usually do if I'm going to be walking around at night, I drew it from my holster while staring at the shape of a man in the back seat. I saw his head turn either toward me or the window on the other side. I couldn't tell because all I was seeing was the shape with no details. I stopped behind a headstone large enough to sort of crouch behind. I hit the unlock button on my key fob because I remembered it turns on the interior lights. I was ready to have to either get a homeless man or a criminal out of my car, but when the lights came on, there was nothing. Whatever or whoever was there vanished. I walked out the gate and all around my car, gun in hand, expecting a person. I looked through the windows, down at the floor in case they hit or something, even though there isn't really room for someone to hide in a Prius. Anyway, after making sure there was nobody around or any oogie boogies in my car, I jumped in and floored it to get back home. I've had a few spooky encounters in my life, but this is the one that really got me good. I feel like I could go sage my car or something. You definitely...
You got a ghost.
Definitely should sage your car a little bit because
Yep.
there's some energy lingering in there. I wonder if that guy was like he's like waiting to get to the next level of purgatory, or like finally his soul gets to be released or something, and he's like waiting for his Uber. Yeah.
Yeah, this must be it.
Yeah, he gets in and he's like, this is taking a long time for the driver to get here.
Yeah. Come on, I got places to be.
Yeah, I'm trying to meet up with my dog, my kids.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, this reminds me it was my freshman year of college. My high school boyfriend and I were a grade apart. We were only a couple weeks apart, but like we both have summer birthdays. So he's a grade below me. And I was like, if you want me to go to your school dances, me as a college adult, you're going to have to ask. Like, I'm not volunteering to go to any of that unless you really want to.
Yeah.
So his prom rolled around, and he decided it would be a great idea to take my spare keys from my mom and decorate my car.
Yeah.
I didn't know this, so I get out of my night class at like 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, walking over to my car, and I just see these like dark mounds in the back of my car, and I'm like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
Like absolutely terrified. There was no one else on the street with me, so I was like, I'm gonna die here.
Yeah.
I like hit the button and the light comes on. It's just balloons. He filled my car to the brim with balloons, which was really nice. However, I had to pop them so I could drive.
Mm-hmm.
So
just 10 minutes in your car, just like...
Yeah, and I was like, someone's gonna call the police because they're like, I hear gunshots. There's so many gunshots
There's an
outside.
automatic rifle outside.
Right. So many fucking balloons. So yeah, that wasn't a ghost, but this might have been.
Yeah, this definitely was. That, yeah. I think a little heads up would have been nice.
Yeah.
Like, hey, don't be alarmed, there's something in your car. Because then I would go out to my car expecting something to be
expecting something and not like
a woman at night walking to her car by herself.
Right.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. No, not the most well thought out plan he ever had. Also, again, not well thought out because I would park my car across from this school and church, and he and his friend James, I'm pretty sure it was, had a hand pump for the balloons, so they're just like sitting in the car pumping the balloons. Yeah. And they like looked up and like saw a woman like, balloons. It's balloons, ma'am. I'm so sorry. It's just balloons. Like, don't worry about it.
Have you seen, there's like a TikTok of somebody who was like, reasons why we like hairdressers shake the bottle like up high, and it was like from behind it was all like they were like she was like, that's why we do it up here.
Up here.
Yeah.
It was like it's a cocktail.
I think it's an interesting choice that OP likes to go walk around the cemeteries.
Yeah. A little bit of my thought with this is assuming everyone else is superstitious, so no one's gonna get you there.
Yeah.
Other than the ghost. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm like, if you have to drive somewhere, why not drive somewhere that like has an actual like track?
Yeah.
Like any school.
Yeah.
Any school has an outside area that has a track around it.
Yeah.
You could just walk that, because that's a mile if you walk it 4 times. Like,
yeah. Yeah. My Nana lived in Samoa for a while.
Yeah.
And the area she was in was very superstitious. And so whenever she lived quite a life, so whenever she was hiding out because she would get in trouble for something,
she would run and hide in the banana plantations because they're like, it's extremely haunted, so no one would chase her into there.
Yeah.
Like this goddamn white lady running into the haunted field. She was like, it was fine. Nothing
Yeah.
happened.
And she's
So-
still living a long and healthy life. So
Yeah, so I'm like, maybe that's kind of their thought too of
nothing's gonna happen.
nothing's gonna happen, yeah, because people are gonna assume it's kind of haunted. So
I guess. But then you got ghosts climbing in your car.
then you got ghosts climbing in your car.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They're not giving you gas money to take them anywhere.
No.
They
also-
want to leave that cemetery. They're coming home with you.
Right. We've never had a ghost write in on the bounds of being a ghost. Like,
Yes.
can they hop in your car and then you drive them someplace?
Yeah.
Or
We
do they
need a
have to be-
professional opinion.
Yeah.
Write in on this and the flush pedestrian thing.
Yeah.
Please and thank you.
Thank you so much. Are there any weird comments? How unusual that you have a Prius and a gun, LOL.
Those two are not the same.
Like, wait a damn minute. They said, I can be financially responsible with my car choice and also your typical Indiana hilljack.
Hilljack.
Hilljack?
What's a hilljack?
Let me look that up. Is that a slur?
It's us. Both of us saying it twice.
Oh, hillbilly, redneck.
Oh, okay.
A little bit of a slur, but like, you can say it, right? Briar hopper. Huh. Well, that was a weird little series of stories.
You know what's not weird though? Our followers, especially the ones who like, comment, share, and subscribe. You can find us anywhere that you stream podcasts, you know, the whole rigmarole. Follow us on all of our social media at _the pod, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. I don't know why I listed YouTube as social media. I guess it kind of is, but
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
it's a different entity in my head.
yeah. You can share your own stories with us on our subreddit, which is also _the pod, or you can email us if you would like to at whatwasthat.thepod@gmail.com.
You know something really weird that happened to me the other day?
Girl, yes, spill. Wait, what was that?